What's good, people? Welcome back to StayWeighedIn. My name's Abbas, and we're here with a new show called Boxing Weekly, where we recap some of the biggest stories that have happened across the past week when it comes to the world of boxing. Currently, right now, as we speak, I believe the Jake Paul Tommy Fury press conference is happening, and we will obviously be recapping the full fight on Sunday when it does actually occur. But for now, let's get into today's video. We're going to start off with Conor Benn and the news that broke that he has been cleared by the WBC. And I think a lot of people have already seen the memes around the eggs. So it was officially classed that he was cleared because he had a highly elevated consumption of eggs. Again, you can make of that what you want. A lot of people have obviously been Connor's obviously done his thing where he's gone out on social media, post the fact that he's innocent, etc. And he's obviously got some backlash about that, but it's obviously important to note that the British board themselves haven't completed their investigation. So whilst the WBC have cleared him, the British board haven't. And it doesn't mean to say that he can't fight, because if I'm not wrong, he can still fight under another board. I believe Tyson Fury does something similar as well. So it'll be interesting to see what Eddie and Conor do for the next few months and how they go about navigating this. Again, I believe there's still a possibility of a ban as well if the British board do find him guilty of doping and stuff. But again, with everything that has occurred, it did leave a stain on his resume and also his career as of now. Following on from that, it looks like we also have a bit more information on Canelo Alvarez. Now, it does look like his fight with John Ryder is going to occur. There was some speculation that could this be the fight that occurs in the UK and bring him over to the UK to have that fight. But it looks like all that speculation is going to be put to bed, because on May the 6th, it looks like we are going to have this fight. It is going to be a homecoming fight, and Canelo will be defending his super middleweight titles against John Ryder. Again, for Canelo, when you look at this, it's another fight for him to show his dominance. And again, in front of his home crowd, he's going to obviously be the big favorite in this fight. You don't expect an upset, with all respect due to John Ryder going forward. I do see Canelo beating him, but also, again, it's one of them things where Canelo stays active. He is looking to other things going forward, but whilst they're not available to him, it's good for him to continue to be active. And what better place than Mexico as well to showcase that. One of the reasons why that might not be the case is basically Eddie Hearn has revealed that he's in talks to potentially make Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol. Again, in Abu Dhabi. However, there's also thoughts of Bivol versus Buatsi, followed by a Canelo rematch. Now, when you look at this, I think Bivol versus Beterbiev is the marquee fight that a lot of people want to make. And it's interesting because, like what we're seeing with Tommy and Jake, which we'll touch on as well towards the ending, a lot of these fights now seem to be swaying away from in America, in the UK per se. Not to say that they don't be there, but when you look at certain mega fights involving two fighters, the Middle East seems to be the new way to go. We've seen it already. Joshua's fought there, Usyk's fought there. I believe Tyson Fury has already fought there as well. These big fights tend to be now happening in the Middle East because they have more funds to be able to make these fights happen. And it's interesting. I guess for me, like I said, it makes sense for Eddie to be able to do the best he can. I think Bivol might now be exclusively signed to Matchroom as well. So with that as well, it makes sense to keep the hype going for both fighters as well. So like I said, watch this space. Again, all the chips lining up. We could potentially see Bivol and Beterbiev fighting later on down the year in the summer potentially. Following on from that, another fighter who is looking for his big fight is Terence Crawford. Now, Oscar De La Hoya, a man who is always open to getting a new fighter on board, wants to sign Terence Crawford to Golden Boy Promotions. Do I personally see that move happening? Most likely not. Crawford, at this point, when you look at what his career is, it's one of them things where, as decorated as it is, the fight now that everyone wants to see is Spence. Now, if De La Hoya can get this deal done and push towards the Spence fight, great, I'm all for it. If it's again one of them things where he signs him to a 3-fight deal, whatever the deal is, and we're plodding his career along, I'm not for it. If we sign him or wherever he signs, the first fight that needs to be under contract has to be Errol Spence. Keeping on board with Oscar De La Hoya, the fight that we assume is going to happen, but again, everything seems to be imminent, but it hasn't occurred. Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, it does seem like we're closer than before, but again, how close can we be before we get the official confirmation? I believe with Tank's case as well, his court case, that is in May, so that wouldn't affect anything when it comes to the proceedings going forward, if they can schedule that April date that everyone seems to be rumored for. If you recall, we remember, I think both guys also posted on their socials previously towards the back end of 2022 that this fight was done, it was made. And since then, we kind of stagnated. There's been a few rumors that the contract hasn't come and they're waiting on certain things as well. I guess it's one of them things that my co-host Ray will say as well. Until it's signed, he's not going to be happy with it. And slowly but surely, I'm falling into the same boat as him as well. Now, just to round up a couple of other things as well, like I said, on the title as well, Floyd Mayweather, he's fighting over the weekend. And I have to be honest, it's in the UK, but he's struggling to sell tickets. The reason I say this is I got a text myself saying you can get 20% off Floyd Mayweather tickets. And I can assure you, if this was even somewhat of a competitive exhibition fight, we would not be seeing this at all. We would see waiting rooms and people struggling to get certain tickets. And at this point, you've got to look at it and to say that I understand Floyd has an itch for boxing. I believe it's more the itch rather than the money. But at what point do you just want to hang it up? Because if you're doing these meaningless exhibitions, in a way, you're ruining your own career. Not necessarily financially or anything, but when people will see it, it's not going to be the spectacle. You're going to get an empty arena or somewhat of a half-full arena. And again, like I said, there's only a certain level of people in the current climate that can afford prices for some of these fighters and fight. And again, you will always look at it and say that whatever they put on, it's always going to be overpriced. So if I'm Floyd, honestly, like even if you slash the prices, it's going to be difficult. Maybe on the night, if you were to slash the prices, yes, you can get people who are in London who are available to be able to come down, just watch the fight. That's okay. But if I'm Floyd, I'm looking at it now, and this could be a tester, and realizing that these celebrity exhibitions are just not it for me, and maybe it's just time to really close up the chapter in boxing and just move on to whatever he wants to do. And finally, just to wrap up, apparently, rumor has it that this Jake Paul Tommy Fury fight is in an arena where 8K people are only available. So if that is the case and you hear sold out, you know that they actually sold out to 8,000 people. With that being said, it is something that we're going to touch on Sunday or Monday's show once we may go live as well. But again, I want to hear your guys' views on all the topics we've talked about as well. Is there anything that we may have missed? Let us know your views in the comments on Twitter. But as always, guys, if you're enjoying the content, drop us a like, share, subscribe, and as always, stay waiting.